And it is time for the boys to take center stage here at the 2018 Calhoun County Basketball Tournament as we are getting set for #1 versus #2. Sacred Heart, the top seed in the tournament. 5th time they've made an appearance in this championship game, getting set to take on the defending county champions and the 2nd-seeded Oxford Yellow Jackets. Courtside now, Mickey Shandricks and John Holder for another boys championship game live here on TV 24. We're obviously excited, happy to be here, still buzzing about that girls championship game. John, you and I hope we just have a similar boys championship game. Last year was a doozy between these two teams. Oxford won the game by 8 points. A lot of those faces are gone. Some of those are back though, but the big thing that stands out to me going in is seems to be all the momentum seems to be with the #2 seed. How do you stack up this game going into it?
Well, the first thing that stands out to me is, yeah, Oxford's got the momentum. They beat a good Sacs team, running clock in the 4th quarter by 53 points here. I asked Coach Joel Van Meter in the post-game interview, said, have you ever had a team play like this? And he said never. And I think his big concern is, have they played their best game already? Have they peaked too soon? This is a great Oxford team. If they play the way that they played Mickey on Friday night, they could beat anybody in this state in any classification. They're capable of that. Sacred Heart, obviously, 3-time defending state champion in Class 1A. They are capable with the talent they have. Deontay Wood, the Alabama signee, of beating anybody in the state. They play, the schedules they play indicate that. You know, you look at the schedule and you look at the records. Oxford comes in at 12-8. Sacred Heart comes in at 12-10, and you're thinking these are just average basketball teams. These two basketball teams, Mickey, are anything but average, because you look at who Oxford has played, you look who Sacred Heart has played. They have played the very best in the state of Alabama. Both of these teams have played #1 teams in other classifications, out-of-state teams in Sacred Heart's classification. So don't let the records deceive you. These are as good of a high school basketball teams as you'll find in any classification in the state of Alabama. I think we're going to see another great game here tonight. You know, Oxford's got a chip on their shoulder because they're the #2, but Sacred Heart probably has a chip on their shoulder because they got knocked off by Oxford in this championship game last year.
Yeah, and they kind of frustrated, as we said, they've been here. This will be the 5th straight time. They've only won it once, though. That was back in 2015 against the Alexandria Valley Cubs. They've lost to Anniston twice in this championship game, and they lost to Oxford last year, and they meet them again tonight. Starting lineups are being introduced to the crowd. Let's take a look at those lineups for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Boy, they come out full court pressure, wall-to-wall defensive pressure up and down the floor. Marquise Davis, Brock Taylor, Kendrick Foster, Eugene Leonard, and Braden Mack. Meanwhile, for Sacred Heart, here's their starting 5. Quindarius Riggins. John mentioned Deontay Wood, who did not get to play in this game last year. He's ready to go tonight. Victor Wilson Jr., Murdoch Simmons, and Khalil Watkins. And John, it seems like around this area we've been used to Sacred Heart being a young basketball team for all of these years, especially this run they've been on. They actually start 4 seniors tonight.
And this is a team that's got to have some production from somebody besides Deontay Wood. He actually went out in the first quarter, toward the end of the first quarter, their quarterfinal round game, a big win over Weaver. And Steven Stansel came off the bench and scored 19 points. But in the semifinal game, Mickey, here against Anniston, he scored 25 points, and Sacred Heart didn't have another player even close, no other player even in double figures. You know Oxford's going to clamp down. Joel Van Meter and his team are going to say, listen, we're going to make somebody besides Deontay Wood beat us in this game. So the thing I think you've got to look at, Mickey, is somebody who's going to step up. Is it going to be Murdoch Simmons? Is it going to be Khalil Watkins? Is it going to be Stansel again? Who's going to step up and help out Deontay Wood offensively? I think that's a big key to watch here, especially in the early going.
And to see how Oxford defends Deontay when he gets the ball in his hands. Will they double team him? And as you mentioned, force someone else to carry the load for the Cardinals. Oxford has won the tournament back-to-back in recent history. They did it back in 2012 and 2013. Again, Sacred Heart losing to Oxford last year. They lost to Anniston in 2016, beat Alexandria in 2015, and lost to Anniston in 2014. The 2018 edition of Oxford Sacred Heart is underway. Eugene Leonard, the Oxford junior point guard, walks the ball up the floor, stares at a 3-2 zone defense by the Cardinals.
They're going to pack it on in there and see what happens. Oxford's got a lot of size, even though Deontay Wood's so good inside, Mickey. Oxford certainly has an inside advantage with height and also size.
Kendrick Foster misses the first shot of the game from the three-point line. Here's Deontay Wood trapped right away. Wiggins throws it away. Eugene Leonard unable to control it, so it'll go back over to Sacred Heart.
And Oxford, conversely, on the other end, putting a lot of pressure, extending that defense out, putting a lot of pressure on the guards of Oxford.
Cardinals inbound. This is Riggins. Khalil Watkins, capable three-point shooter, misses short, so both teams have missed a couple of three-point tries here in the first few seconds of the game. Inside, freshman Rock Taylor. Braden Mack couldn't pull the trigger. And a 3-second violation against the freshman Rock Taylor. Camped out in the lane that time.
First 3-second call I've seen in the last 2 days here. So Taylor camping out in the lane in the first minute, and they called the 3-second.
Deontay Wood's first trip to the basket, and it's a charge.
That's another thing to keep your eye on here, is they cannot afford to get Deontay Wood into foul trouble. Great job inside that time. You saw number 10 there, Kendrick Foster, and he's about half the size of Deontay Wood, standing in there very courageously and taking that charge.
So first foul of the game goes to Sacred Heart's leading scorer, Deontay Wood. Inside to the freshman. Caught his own miss and then put it back in. I'm not sure that ball drew iron. And it's out of bounds to the Yellow Jackets.
You see the effect of Deontay Wood. We talk about, he's 6'4", 6'5" in that range, but he plays much bigger than that because he has such long arms and great leaping ability. He affected both of those shots from Rock Taylor that time.
Stancil throws it away. Eugene Leonard runs it down and lays it in.
Eugene Leonard's as good of a guard as you're going to find in high school basketball in this state. Great defense that time, knocking the ball away and then taking it coast to coast.
And another steal. Marquise Davis carries the ball. Probably should have thrown to Rock Taylor open underneath the basket. Hesitated, and it cost him a turnover. So Sacred Heart. Stancil comes out of the game. Murdoch Simmons into the game for Sacred Heart head coach Ralph Graves.
Official said double dribble. Really more of a walk there as he put the ball on his hip and took an extra step. Turnover nonetheless.
Sacred Heart beats the pressure this time. Inside it goes to Simmons. His little turnaround shot in the lane is good. So Murdoch Simmons finally puts the Cardinals on the board. It's a 4-2 game. Foster open on the baseline and drills the 15-foot jump shot.
Kendrick was wide open and nailed it. Oxford having some good success on offense.
Murdoch Simmons back-to-back buckets. Oxford's lead is 2. Marquise Davis, a long three, misses it short. And the Cardinals control the rebound.
We wondered who was going to step up and help out Deontay Wood. So far, it looks like it's going to be Murdoch Simmons with all of Sacred Heart's points here early on.
Little runner by Riggins is no good. Jackets hold Sacred Heart to 1 shot. Trying to get it inside to Davis. Lost it out of bounds. Chased down by Wilson. And here comes the Cardinals. Khalil Watkins drives. Wide open corner three from Murdoch Simmons is no good. Rock Taylor boxing out inside against Watkins for the rebound. Braden Mack, Oxford's leading scorer against sacks. Little turnaround move inside and banks it in.
Working on Deontay Wood that time. Great job of posting up and then a good move to the basket to bank it up and in.
4 players in the scoring column here early for Oxford as they have an 8-4 lead. 4 players with 2 points each. And we're going to have a foul, I believe, Braden Mack, who's drawing the assignment of guarding Deontay Wood. Substitution for Oxford coach Joel Van Meter. Mont McClendon comes in for Kendrick Foster. Lobs it inside to Wood, and he puts it in and draws the foul. Outstanding play by Deontay Wood.
We saw a lot of this in the semifinal round game against Anniston, where Deontay Wood making not only big baskets, but converting big old-fashioned three-point opportunities. Seemed like every time in that semifinal game, Mickey, against Anniston, when Sacred Heart needed a big basket, Deontay Wood not only delivered the basket, but delivered and converted into a three-point play. Looks like he's going to do it again right here.
And he finishes the three-point play the old-fashioned way. Foster's back in the game because Braden Mack has 2 fouls now in the first 4 minutes of the first quarter.
And he gave the little whisper signal to the Oxford student section after he made that free throw.
Eugene Leonard's long-range three is no good. Deontay Wood up high for the rebound. Wood gets it ahead to Simmons. Cut off. Wood from the top of the key. His three bounces around. Leonard with the rebound. Here come the Jackets on the fast break. Leonard pulls up. Gets it.
Eugene Leonard is money in that situation. A great job of the pull-up jumper off the fast break.
Simmons racing down the other end and got too far under the basket. And Marquise Davis is injured for Oxford, and that is not a good sign. And now we've got some contact. I'm not sure what's going on here, but Marquise Davis is slow to get up.
Davis
like
has just now gotten up. Yeah, he was in a lot of pain laying on his stomach there for that entire possession by Sacred Heart.
And we've got our first media break of the game at 3:42 of the first quarter. Frenetic pace here early in this one. Oxford leading Sacred Heart 10-7.
Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford, we treat you like family.
Their appointments are always available. I never feel rushed or like I'm bothering them if I call, and Dr. Edmond is just always happy to see every patient.
It ain't like you go in some of these others, you go in there and don't know what doctor you're going to get to see. This is the doctor when you come, this is the man you will see.
I wouldn't go anywhere else. There's nobody else I trust.
Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford. One visit and you'll know you're a member of the family.
And TV24's live coverage of the boys championship game brought to you by the RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission. Oxford coach Joel Van Meter's team going for back-to-back county championships here tonight against Sacred Heart, the largest school in the county and the smallest school in the county for the second year in a row, battling out for best of the boys in the county. Eugene Leonard's drive, he lays it in. Leonard is now up to 6 points, the leading scorer in the game. Near steal that time by Foster. Open three from the right corner is no good. Murdoch Simmons with the offensive rebound for Sacred Heart. Wood flashing in the lane, goes up, misses, gets his own rebound, misses again, and Marquise Davis gets it this time. Two close-range shots missed by Deontay Wood, and Mont McClendon lays it in.
Great transition basketball again by Oxford that time. Two easy inside shots missed by Deontay Wood. Now a foul.
Oxford has increased its lead to 7 over Sacred Heart. Marquise Davis called for the foul against Murdoch Simmons.
We saw in the semifinals against Anniston, Deontay Wood missed a lot of easy shots like that early in the game, but beware because he got on fire in the second half and wound up scoring 25.
Simmons misses badly on the first free throw attempt.
Sacred Heart having a lot of trouble right now, Mickey, handling this fast break transition basketball by Oxford.
Hits the second. 14-8 now. Jackets with a 6-point lead. Sacred Heart staying zone. Oxford being very patient, deliberate on the offensive end. Taylor steps out and shoots a three and misses. Deontay Wood there to clean up inside. Simmons working against the ninth grader Rock Taylor and goes to the left hand and lays it in. So Murdoch Simmons, along with Eugene Leonard, has 3 baskets in the first quarter. It's a 4-point Oxford lead. McClendon drives, loses it. Oxford lucky to get that one back. Here is Leonard, and there's a call for steps as he started to make his move to the basket.
Saw the open lane just took an extra step too far. One thing we talked about at the open was who was going to step up and offensively and help out Deontay Wood. It's Murdoch Simmons. He's the leading scorer in the game now for either team. 7 points total.
Simeon Chadrick checks in for Kendrick Foster. Again, Braden Mack, Oxford's starting post player, is on the bench with 2 fouls. He picked those up early in the first part of the first quarter. Simmons left open from the corner, misses the shot. McClendon up high for the rebound. Gets it over to Leonard. Jackets push it up the floor. Davis back out top to Leonard. Oxford sets it up. 1.5 minutes to play in our first quarter. Boys championship game here at the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Kendrick Foster's three is no good. Murdoch Simmons with the rebound.
Well, Foster wide open that time, couldn't nail it.
A little bit out of control is Quindarius Riggins, but some contact on the way to the basket, and Kendrick Foster picks up his first foul. That is team foul number 4 against Oxford. Wood posted against Leonard. Corner 3 is off the mark. Oh no, it falls in for Wilson. Marquise Davis tries to answer back. Missed it, got his own rebound, goes up, has his shot blocked by Deontay Wood. Shadricks knocks it loose, and Foster lays it in.
Good no quit by Shadricks that time. It looked like Sacred Heart was going to be off to the races, but a heads-up play by Shadricks to get the turnover for Oxford.
And a drive by Riggins is waved off for a charging foul. So it will go back over to Oxford.
That's one thing Oxford does so well, particularly Eugene Leonard, one of the best guys in this state at taking charges. We saw in our holiday showcase here against Alexandria. It took about 8 charges in that game. He's a guy who is not afraid to step in there and to be quite honest with you, take a beating, because he's not the biggest guy on the floor by any stretch of the imagination. He's the best guy I've seen in a long time that will step in there and take the charge.
Marquise Davis gets a breather. Foster back in. Under a minute to play first quarter. Jackets nursing a 3-point lead. Lobbed inside to Taylor. In the corner it goes to Foster. His pull-up jump shot is off the mark. Deontay Wood there for the rebound. Sacred Heart with an opportunity to play for the final shot. He is double teamed. Gets it over to Simmons. Pulls up. Little 12-footer is good as he rattles it in. Murdoch Simmons with a fantastic first quarter. He's got 9 to lead all scorers. 3 seconds. Oxford got to hurry to get a shot away. Leonard will take it all the way, but it's no good. He shot it after the horn, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Oxford getting off to a good start. The Sacred Heart, thanks to Murdoch Simmons, answering late in the quarter. It's a 1-point Oxford lead.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
And the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament on TV 24 is presented by the RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission. Coach Ralph Graves has to be pleased to see his team fell behind by 14-7, but then they went on a little bit of a run. And I tell you, Murdoch Simmons with those 9 first-quarter points was key for Sacred Heart, because past him, they really didn't get much going offensively.
Murdoch Simmons has been his show so far, 9 points in the first half. I'm a little bit surprised that they have relied on the 3 so much and not going more inside to Deontay Wood.
Wood is still in the game. Picked up that foul early, but still only has 1 foul. Wilson, pump fake, drives, and couldn't get the roll. Braden Mack with the rebound. Leonard pushing. Inside to a wide open Rock Taylor, who lays it in.
Miscommunication on defense there. Raphael Gray says, what is that, guys? Just totally wide open. Rock Taylor on the inside for an easy layup.
Deontay Wood takes it all the way, draws the contact against Rock Taylor, and that'll be the first foul on the freshman. And Deontay Wood will shoot free throws.
What makes Deontay Wood so dangerous, Mickey, is, you know, he can post up, and he's as good of a post player as you're going to see in high school basketball. But then you see that where he can come all the way from the wing and penetrate inside. Good ball handler, good body control, good shooter as well from really anywhere on the court.
And he misses the first.
Wood with only 3 points in this game, coming off a 25-point night in the semifinals and the quarterfinals against Weaver. He only had 7, but he only played about a quarter in that game.
And he makes the second, so he's 2 for 3 from the line here in the first half. It's a 2-point Oxford lead. Foster bounces out to get it. Tried to get it inside to Rock Taylor, and Braden Mack just picked up his 3rd foul on a charge.
Great job by Deontay Wood. Wood stood his ground, knew he was going to take a big bump. And that's going to be the replay right here. Watch Deontay Wood. That was a collision. They say basketball is a contact sport. That was a lot of contact right there. Good call by the officials and a great job by Deontay Wood.
Here comes Riggins. Simmons, 3-pointer from the right corner is good. Murdoch Simmons really playing well for Sacred Heart in the first half. Sacred Heart taking their first lead of the game. Shadricks drills the 3.
Calhoun County 3-point shooting champion, in case you missed that Saturday night, coming off the bench with a big 3 for Oxford.
Oxford regains the lead, 21-19. Corner 3, boom. Victor Wilson Jr. gives the lead right back to Sacred Heart. Eugene Leonard's 3 is no good. Marquise Davis with the rebound and puts it back in.
Davis with a huge basket that time. No one around. Easy rebound. Just put it right back up.
Oxford back to a 1-point lead. Deontay Wood having trouble getting it across as Taylor and Shadricks had him trapped in the backcourt, and Coach Graves didn't want to risk the 10-second call, so he called timeout with 5:56 to play here in the second quarter.
You see the great ball handling skills, though, and that's a great situation there with Deontay Wood. How many 6'5" guys do you know, especially high school guys, that can handle the press? I mean, Oxford's as good as anybody in pressing. Really great guard play, and he did a great job handling the basketball that time before Coach Graves called that timeout. Vicki, we had a great girls game, one of the better girls games that we've had in the championship in a while. A 59-55 Anniston win over Oxford. And this boys game has probably been even better so far. A 1-point game, and it's been back and forth here for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Incredible pace in this one with these two teams. You tell how much they want it. There's a lot of pride on the line to be the boys county champion. Oxford in a zone in a little bit of foul trouble, so they go to a zone for the first time tonight. Davis pushes it up the floor. Tries to take it all the way, and fortunately for Davis, a blocking foul called against Sacred Heart. Boy, that would have been 2 on Davis. And a good call.
Good call. He was not set, still moving. The officials did good communication. After the call, they went over and talked with each other, make sure they had the right call. These officials, even though they're from Metro Birmingham, Mickey, they know how important this is in Calhoun County. Want to make the right call. We mentioned Deontay Wood, how he can handle the ball and run the floor. What about Marquise Davis right there?
Kobe Warren lost the ball on the way to the basket. Turnover, Yellow Jackets. Sacred Heart with an opportunity to regain the lead. They've had the lead one time. And a turnover here. Good defense by Warren. Riggins loses it out of bounds. So both teams swap turnovers. Jackets get it back, 5.5 to play. And Davis is a little shaken up and will go to the bench. He took a fall earlier. Not sure if that's what's bothering him or if he's just tired. Again, the pace has been pretty frenetic here in this first half. Leonard drives and lays it in.
Hard. I don't know if this is coming across, but just on television, but in person, the quickness of Eugene Leonard is off the charts.
Joshua Brown down low to Simmons. And acrobatic shot is no good. Deontay Wood with the offensive rebound and puts it back in.
Amazing how Deontay Wood even got that rebound, much less the putback. Great effort underneath by Deontay Wood.
Leonard pulls up. Three-point shot is no good. Rebound, Deontay Wood and Rock Taylor fighting for it. Jump ball, possession arrow pointing in Oxford's direction, so the Yellow Jackets will keep it with a 1-point lead. Leonard inbounds to Shadricks. Shadricks pulls up, shoots a long three. I think Brown may have got a piece of that one. So Sacred Heart has it back. Deontay Wood sends it over to Riggins, and his three is good. So the shooting really picking up here for the Cardinals. They have their largest lead of the game. It's a 2-point lead.
Quinn Riggins, his first points of the game with a three. And that is the 4th three in the game hit by Sacred Heart, and most of those have been late first quarter into the first half of the second quarter.
Corey Russell checks into the game for the first time. And we have a timeout called by Oxford at the 4:06 mark of the second quarter. 30-second timeout for the Yellow Jackets. So I think a big story for Oxford at this point is the foul trouble for Braden Mack. Their starting senior post player is going to be on the bench for the rest of the first half with those 3 fouls. And then for Sacred Heart, it's the offensive production from Murdoch Simmons.
Murdoch Simmons is already in double figures with 11 points. And, you know, you wonder if with Braden Mack out of the game, the big inside force for Oxford, if they don't try to, Sacred Heart offensively, Mickey doesn't try to maybe go down inside more to Deontay Wood. Braden Mack probably not the tallest player on this Oxford team, but Mickey, I think you'll agree, for the most physical player inside for Oxford.
Inbound to Rock Taylor, back out to Warren. Kendrick Foster is open, pulls up. His jump shot is way off the mark. Brown with the rebound. Deontay Wood ran off the floor. Looks like he's limping a little bit. Now he comes into the front court. Brown's three-pointer from the right wing is no good. Murdoch Simmons, another offensive rebound, and he's fouled as he went back up. So Murdoch Simmons is going to head back to the free throw line.
There was only one white jersey, Mickey, amongst 3 black jerseys that time. And Murdoch Simmons was the one wearing the white jersey. He's the guy who got that rebound and put back. Great effort by Murdoch Simmons of Sacred Heart.
And that foul, by the way, on to Corey Russell. Timeout on the court. A good one brewing here in the boys championship game. Top-seeded Sacred Heart with a 2-point lead.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, three-point home run, hat-trick pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm going to get back to doing what I love. I'm going to get back to winning. In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
And a good shot inside Pete Matthews Coliseum at the crowd that has turned out for this one tonight. Of course, the tournament having some postponements last week due to weather. So here we are on a Monday night with the championship game. And John and you and I were talking earlier off the air that we would have even more people here if it weren't for some of the local teams around this area having to play and getting back to their regular season schedule tonight.
Yeah, a lot of those games are being played are area games too, so just really no way to postpone those because those are the games that count, of course, for postseason competitions. The first shot is up and in by Murdoch Simmons.
Second shot is good for Simmons. Now with 14 points to lead all scorers, Sacred Heart has its largest lead at 4. Cross court it goes to Foster. Oxford looking for the right shot here, and almost another turnover by Warren, but a foul against Sacred Heart that time on Quindarius Riggins. That'll be number 2 on him as he becomes the first Cardinal player with more than 1 foul.
Looking at the stat line here, of course, Braden Mack, a little surprising, only 2 points, but he's been on the bench for most of this first half in foul trouble. And Khalil Watkins, an outstanding 3-point shooter for Sacred Heart, has been held scoreless. And you know that Coach Gray's will to get a little bit of production out of him on the offensive end.
Foster goes inside to Taylor. Leonard steps in and is left open, misses the shot. Warren with the offensive rebound. Back out to Foster, so the Jackets get another chance. Warren's shot is no good. Some contact inside, and we're going the other way. I believe they're going to get to Corey Russell as he was boxing out Deontay Wood inside.
Deontay Wood has been in some big collisions. You mentioned an injury that he had Friday night in the quarterfinals. You mentioned he may have been a little bit injured here. He had a big collision that time with Corey Russell. Had another big collision earlier on when he took that charge in the first quarter. As Simeon Shadrick's about to come back into the game. And they were about to throw it in, but then the officials whistling in from the bench that Sacred Heart is in the bonus. And so this is a 1-and-1 for Deontay Wood.
Wood is 2 for 3 from the line tonight. And he has 6 points. Marquise Davis is back in as well for Corey Russell, who had to provide some minutes for the Jackets with Braden Mack in foul trouble. Wood misses. Leonard over to Foster. Leonard drives. Little runner is no good. Deontay Wood with the rebound, and he's trapped in the backcourt. And the Jackets force a turnover, and Foster lays it in.
Excellent trap that time by Oxford to force the turnover and get the layup.
And the Jackets force another turnover. Leonard got away with a charge. Brock Taylor there and lays it back in.
Taylor making his presence known on the inside with a proverbial garbage basket, and we're back tied again.
Simmons drives, and we're going to get a blocking foul against Eugene Leonard. That'll be Leonard's first. And Simmons will go to the free throw line. There we see the blocking foul called against Leonard. Murdoch Simmons is 3 for 4 from the line.
No player in this game besides Murdoch Simmons in double figures. He is far and away the leading scorer on either side with 14, looking to expand that.
Tell we've had a lot of bodies hitting the floor. We've spent some time cleaning up.
There have been some collisions. That collision between Eugene Leonard and Deontay Wood was as hard as any of those, and nothing was called on that one.
Boy, Sacred Heart missing some opportunities at the free throw line here. Leonard over to Shadricks, back out to Leonard. Inside to Taylor, and he lays it in. Nice look by Eugene Leonard. They're overcompensating for Shadricks in the corner, and that's a couple of times they've been able to get it inside. Even if you're not shooting it, you make the floor a little wider.
And you just can't coach that. That's just great vision by Eugene Leonard to see that, and it had to be a perfect pass too. A foot away, and that ball's knocked away or stolen.
Inside to Wood, and he lays it in. Deontay Wood just got good inside position that time. Ties the game at 31. We go back and forth here. Under a minute to play in the first half. Leonard calls for a screen from Marquise Davis. Now over to Foster. And Leonard just tried to drive into 2 defenders and turned it over.
Really good defense that time by Sacred Heart. Deep benches. Sacred Heart substituting more than they did in the semifinals. As Coach Raphael Gray's bringing a lot of players in. Oxford, of course, has a deep bench as well. Shadricks goes out.
Mont McClendon comes in for defense. See if Sacred Heart holds for one here. Taylor almost stole that one. Khalil Watkins, who's been on the bench for a while, dishes to Murdoch Simmons, who lays it in. Nice 2-man game there for Watkins and Simmons.
No look pass that time by Watkins. Big basket right before halftime by the Cardinals.
Oxford will try to tie or take the lead with a 3. Davis, his 3 from the right wing is no good, and Watkins there to get the rebound. And Sacred Heart, after being down by a point after 1 quarter, continues to get good offensive production from Murdoch Simmons and also Deontay Wood here in the 2nd quarter. And they take a 2-point lead into the locker room. Let's send it over to Gerhardt.
All right, here with Coach Joel Van Meter of the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Coach, a really competitive first half. What are some of your takeaways?
Well, I think they've done a great job in their zone of taking us out of a fluid offense. They spaced the floor well against our press, and Deontay Wood's been the best player on the floor.
What are some of your things that in the second half that you want to execute a little bit better, or you want to just keep playing in general the same way that you have been playing this first half?
Well, a big part of it is you're missing shots. You know, if you make some shots, you can get into your press. You feel a lot better about things. So hopefully we see some of them go through the rim.
I'll let you get back to your team, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, Oxford down 2, 33-31 at halftime, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Gerhardt. Boys County Championship game, number 1 versus number 2. Rematch from a year ago. Can Sacred Heart capture their first county championship since 2015? A long way to go in this one. We'll be back with more at halftime from JSU's Pete Matthews Coliseum in just a moment.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Lynn Costner Auto Sales is celebrating their 20-year anniversary and says thank you, Northeast Alabama, for 20 years of great customers and community support. Over the past 20 years, Lynn Costner Auto Sales has established itself as one of the premier used vehicle dealers in the area. They take pride in doing business the right way and in taking care of their customers before and after the sale. Lynn Costner Auto Sales has a large selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. When you get ready to buy your next vehicle, stop by in person or visit the website at lyncostnerautosales.com.
I was finally ready to buy my first home after renting for the last several years. As I started my search, I got overwhelmed by how many websites and confusing listings there are. That's when I found the experts at ERA King. To me, ERA means expertise, reliability, and activity. I depended on them to find a home in my budget, and they didn't stop working until the keys were in my hands. ERA King. To us, it means always doing the right thing for every client. What will ERA mean to you? Find out at eraking.com.
At Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford, we treat you like family.
Their appointments are always available. I never feel rushed or like I'm bothering them if I call, and Dr. Edmond is just always happy to see every patient.
It ain't like you going to some of these others. You go in there and don't know what doctor you're going to get to see. This is the doctor when you come. This is the man you will see.
I wouldn't go anywhere else. There's nobody else I trust.
Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford. One visit and you'll know you're a member of the family.
And Mickey Shadricks and John Holder back with you at halftime of the boys county championship game. Sacred Heart with a 2-point lead over the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Speaking of Oxford, a big night for Oxford High School. Tonight, the girls team playing for the girls county championship, the boys playing in the boys game. And Gerhard Mathangani is standing by with a very special guest.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. We're here with Joshua Kraft, Sales and Advertising Director over at Chocolaga Park and over in Oxford. One of the things we always love to talk about with this park is each and every year it seemingly grows in the services that it provides to the community. And so we'll talk about a few things here. We'll highlight a few things that you're doing here in 2018. First off, let's talk about the canoeing that you guys are starting up.
Yeah, the canoeing and kayaking on Chocolaga Creek, it should be starting up in March or April. Right. We also got several other things. We're going to have disc golf hopefully next year. Bike share program should be ready to go with that we're partnering with Jacksonville State and Addison on. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming.
And every year, seemingly, it's a great host for different tournaments. We've seen the Ohio Valley Conference softball championship over there, the baseball championship, as well as track and field. Talk about the venue to host these kind of tournaments, not just for the college level, but also for the high school level and the Little Leagues.
Well, the OVC softball and baseball will be back this year, and softball might be back next year too. We got a bid on it and all that. Track and field will be back hopefully within the next 2 or 3 years. The Dixie Youth World Series, which was really successful last year, and we're actually going to host the Dixie Youth Rookie Tournament this year for the state. So we're still doing that. We got pro days coming where Major League Baseball scouts and coaches come down. We're going to be doing that again this year. So we got a bunch of stuff going on.
Absolutely. And it's not just for all the organized sporting events. Those who want to just get out, walk around, get some exercise, burn some calories of the day. It's one of those things that's it's public friendly for all those people as well.
That's right. We have kite flying competitions coming to the park this year actually. But we went to a conference in Indianapolis at the first of the year, and it was for the baseball coaches. And we have teams from Canada coming down to play. Right. So we are now an international park.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really like about it, it's not just your main football, basketball, baseball. You are introducing things like frisbee golf or disc golf, as you say, and canoeing. Where do some of those ideas come from? Is it something that you guys come up with and then find ways to execute that and find ways to make it where it's accessible for those organizations to come through?
Well, our Parks and Recreation Director, Don Hudson, and our Mayor, Alton Craft, they do an excellent job of having an ear to the ground about these things. And then they let us, we have a committee that meets weekly, and they do a good job of listening to, some of our ideas about things and just hearing things that we get messages, emails about, phone calls. When are y'all going to start doing this? So we do, and we listen to the people and we see what they want.
Absolutely. And for business owners that want to get involved and be able to get their product and their services out to those people who visit the park and frequent the park, what are some of the ways they can get involved?
Well, they can always call the Civic Center. I would be the one that they talk to about sponsorships, advertising, things like that. We have some good sponsorship packages that are available. If you want to spend $100, $500, even $1 million, we have a package for you.
Absolutely. It's great stuff. You guys are doing great stuff over there for business owners, for anybody that wants to get involved. From an advertising perspective, talk to Joshua Kraft. And if you are involved in anything from disc golf to a fan of softball, track, and volleyball, everything else, Chocoloca Park's a place for you. Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Gerhard. And thanks for Joshua Kraft being in attendance tonight. And I tell you what, we had some entertainment going on there, didn't we, John?
We had the Oxford Yellow Jacket actually doing the worm. That's what's about to happen right here. Challenge the Sacred Heart and the Cardinal. We couldn't get the Cardinal to do the worm, but some friendly competition here. Cheerleaders were out here doing a lot of flips at the half and blowing kisses to the crowd and waving at the fans. And so we've had an interesting halftime here at the Coliseum.
All right, big second half on deck. Stay right with us for the Boys County Championship game.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that? Right here at RMC.
And welcome back to Pete Matthews Coliseum on the campus of Jacksonville State University, the annual site of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament, the 67th tournament going on with the Boys Championship game tonight. And our coverage on TV 24 is brought to you by the RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission. Murdoch Simmons, the leading scorer in the game at halftime with 16 points. Deontay Wood, the outstanding senior Alabama commit, has 8 points. For the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Eugene Leonard and Rock Taylor are the leading scorers with 8 apiece.
Coach Van Meter mentioned in talking with Gerhard there at the half about Deontay Wood, and Deontay Wood has had a very good game defensively and rebounding. But, Mickey, I think the storyline of this game has been who you just mentioned. I think Murdoch Simmons with 16 points in the first half. He's got double the amount of offensive production than Deontay Wood, and I don't believe that Sacred Heart is where they are with this lead at halftime if it's not for Murdoch Simmons in that big first half offensively.
And Braden Mack will start the second half for Oxford with those 3 fouls. Him being out for most of the first half was definitely something that the Jackets missed. And Deontay Wood, a little hook shot in the lane, gets the Cardinals off to a good start here in the second half to match their largest lead of the game at 4. Wilson, Riggins, Watkins, Simmons, and Wood starting the second half the way Sacred Heart started the game. Same for Oxford with Leonard, Taylor, Matt, Davis, and Foster, and a foul inside against Murdoch Simmons.
They tried the alley-oop that time, and as they tried the alley-oop, Murdoch Simmons with a push to try to push him out of the way. Ref right on top of it with a good call.
They leave Davis open, and he missed the 3. Braden Mack missed the shot inside. Simmons able to maintain control and get it away to Khalil Watkins. Wilson thought about it, then thought better of it. Sacred Heart will set it up against a man defense by actually Oxford in a zone here to start the second half. Wood can't get it to fall, gets his own rebound, finds Simmons open. His three-point shot is no good. And the rebound controlled by Braden Mack.
Deontay Wood almost had a second rebound. That first rebound just incredible. You really see the length of his arms. Plays much bigger than his 6'5" frame.
And Leonard shoots an air ball, and Khalil Watkins dribbles it out of bounds.
Watkins had the rebound and was not really under pressure that time. Just didn't have the court awareness. His foot was out of bounds. This was right on top of it on the baseline.
Leonard throws it in the backcourt to Davis, who has to go back and save it.
And Davis was only about 2 inches away from stepping out on the far end of the court and tracking down that long baseball pass.
Sacred Heart opens second half in the zone. They've been in the zone pretty much all night, and that's what Oxford's missed with Braden Mack on the bench. He's a very effective scorer from the mid-range area.
Only the second basket of the game by Braden Mack, and then the ball knocked away and stolen by Eugene Leonard, and now Sacred Heart's going to wind up with it after all that.
And they've got a 4-on-2 break. Riggins can't finish. Oxford fortunate that time. The numbers were against them, and Riggins missed the shot. Foster drives, pulls up, and gets it to fall. Hendrick Foster, outstanding jump shooter. He's got 8 points in the game now. Deontay Wood shoots an air ball. Murdoch Simmons, though, able to try to save it in bounds, but couldn't knock it off of Braden Mack. So here comes Oxford on the push. Foster's three-pointer from the corner is no good. And Wilson there to get the rebound.
Coach Van Meter saying, I wanted to put pressure on these guys. He's calling his team into the front court. Now we're going to have a foul. Coach Van Meter was really upset with his team there. He wanted to slap the press on, and only about half of his team was in the front court doing what he was asking to do.
And McClendon will get Braden Mack out of the game. Don't think he'll be out long. I think that has something to do with where he was lined up that time. So we're tied at 35. 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, I should say, into the third quarter. Wilson, three-point shot is good. That is the third three of the game for Victor Wilson Jr.
He had one in each quarter, one in the first, one in the second, now a third three-pointer here in the third.
Leonard open. His three-point shot is no good. And rebound saved in, but saved into Oxford, and Marquise Davis lays it in and is fouled from behind by Khalil Watkins.
Oh, Watkins, that one you just have to let it go. You can't make a bad situation worse. Watkins was out of position, and he just came over the back, and that is just one of those situations where you're in a bad position anyway, and you don't want to give up a basket, but Mickey, in that situation, you just can't foul. You make a bad situation worse.
And Marquise Davis with a chance to complete the old-fashioned three-point play, and if he's able to do so, would tie the game again. Davis, that's only his fourth point tonight.
Officials still working over there trying to get all the moisture up off the floor. This particular end of the floor tonight, they've had 2 or 3 times where they've had to take some extra time to get the sweat up.
Davis couldn't hit the free throw. So it remains a 1-point Sacred Heart lead. Oxford with the press and a near steal. Leonard knocked it out of bounds.
Winds up in the hands of Mickey Shadrick here on the press row.
Got my hands on it. By the way, Joshua Brown is in the game for Sacred Heart. Khalil Watkins came out after that foul. Yeah, here we are. We're right courtside. Right in the line of fire, right? Long three-point shot is no good. Marquise Davis there with the rebound. He is trapped in the backcourt. And we're going to have a jump ball, but it goes over to Sacred Heart. Heads up play by Deontay Wood.
Last 2 times down the court for Joel Van Meter after Sacred Heart's gotten the ball on a rebound. He's been wanting to apply the pressure. He's calling his team, come on, guys.
Davis throws it away. Riggins takes it all the way and has the shot blocked by Marquise Davis. And then it's thrown away, and McClendon's got it. Oxford with the numbers. McClendon missed the layup, drove it into Deontay Wood. Not a good decision. Murdoch Simmons trying to save it in and does to Deontay Wood. Corner three is good for Wilson Jr. That's 2 triples here in the third quarter. 4 overall. He's got 12 in the game, and Sacred Heart back up by 4.
And that last possession by Oxford, Mickey, they had a 4-on-1 break and didn't get anything out of it.
Kendrick Foster, nice runner on the baseline. He's got 4 in the quarter. He's now in double figures with 10. Nice dish to Simmons, and we're going to have a blocking foul inside against Eugene Leonard. That'll be number 2 on Leonard.
Leonard tried to take a charge again. He's outstanding at doing that, but moved his feet and shuffled them at the last minute, so he'll be called for the foul.
And we have our media timeout here in the third quarter. 3:44 left in our third quarter. Sacred Heart with the ball and a 2-point lead.
Don't just dream it. Call Family Savings Credit Union. Right now, get something you want for as low as 2.24% APR. You can even apply online or by phone. Family Savings Credit Union, where your money grows with you and your family.
Water is in a bit of trouble. Suspected of carrying harmful pollutants into community storm drains, stormwater faces a serious problem. When it rains, dirt, motor oil, excess fertilizer, and trash are washed into rivers, lakes, and streams, and a clean raindrop becomes an unwilling accomplice in the problem of water pollution. It's up to each of us to do our part. Visit cleanwatercampaign.com to learn more. Help protect our water.
And we're back at Pete Matthews Coliseum. TV24's live coverage of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament presented by the RNC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission. John, one big difference in this game is Sacred Heart is really getting it done from behind the arc. They have 6 threes in the game, 4 of them by Victor Wilson Jr. Oxford only has 1 3, and that from Simeon Shadricks. Oxford has had a lot of open three-point opportunities, obviously, with Sacred Heart in a zone, but unable to connect on many of those. And the lob on the inbound play, we've seen that before. Deontay Wood lays it in.
Nicely designed play by Rafael Graves coming out of that timeout as they just wafted it in, and alley-oop, and a nice easy basket by Deontay Wood, and another miss on the 3 by Oxford.
And Rock Taylor out-muscled Deontay Wood for the rebound and then got fouled on the way up. Correction, that foul is on Joshua Brown.
See the replay here. Taylor, Wood battling. And then Wood just swatted it away, but he got him with a body. And a foul on Deontay Wood.
And Rock Taylor hits the first free throw. Braden Mack back in for Kobe Warren.
Rock Taylor had 8 points in the first half. That's his first point of the second half.
And he gets the roll on the second free throw. So Rock Taylor now in double figures with 10 points. Back to a 2-point Sacred Heart lead. Full court pressure by Oxford. Simmons dribbles out of a double team. Lost the ball. Somehow Deontay Wood wound up with it, and he's fouled by Taylor.
Murdoch Simmons dribbling way too much that time. Finally caught up with him. Ball was knocked away. But it just seems like those great players like Deontay Wood always seem to be around the basketball, and he was there to get it. Rock Taylor fouled him as they came out of that pile.
Deontay Wood double teamed over to Joshua Brown. And it's off of Mack. Well, no, they give it to Oxford.
Good job by Braden Mack that time, boxing out Deontay Wood, and that is a lot easier said than done. Wood came over the top and batted the ball out of bounds, and a good call by the officials to give it back to Oxford. See the replay right here. Good, nice job boxing out, and a good call by the official. You see Deontay Wood come in over the top of Braden Mack and knock it out of bounds.
Eugene Leonard tries another three, misses another three off the top of the backboard.
I think you make a very astute point there about Oxford's three-point shooting or lack thereof. There's another. That's a wide open miss. Eugene Leonard doesn't usually miss wide open threes top of the key like that. They just have not been able to find that rhythm they had on Saturday.
And an air ball here by Wilson. Leonard pulls up, misses again. Murdoch Simmons ahead to Deontay Wood, and he is hit from behind and takes a nasty fall. And that is not good to see at all.
Wood is still down. You see him in a lot of pain on that west end zone baseline. Sean Seeger is out there training. A good training staff here at Jacksonville State being provided. And
when the ball got ahead to Wood, you could just kind of sense something like this might happen. Let's see what happened.
Long baseball pass. Two players come down. Looked like he fell right on his tailbone, Mickey. And as you know, see the replay again. Yeah, he fell right on that tailbone. And Mickey, that usually doesn't wind up being a serious injury, but what it winds up being is you know, if you've ever fallen on your tailbone like that, that winds up being a painful injury. That is very, very painful when you fall where he fell. And this is a big moment in this game. 2:38 to go in the third, and here's your...
Let's watch the hands of Leonard here. Makes a little contact, but it's almost like his momentum. I'm not sure. Regardless, a tough fall for Deontay Wood, and a foul is going to be called on Eugene Leonard. He did put his hands on him.
Just the awkwardness of the way he's fell, because Deontay Wood was going in, it looked like, for a slam, Mickey. And so when you're going in for a slam like that, you're totally you're in the air anyway, totally out of control. They'll take him actually back to the training facility here at Jack State. And that he's going to be out for, you would think probably, Mickey, he may be out for the rest of this quarter, going all the way back to the dressing room, and as slow as he's moving. So you start looking at Murdoch Simmons right now.
And you start looking for your team chiropractor. Maybe we'll see Deontay Wood come back out of that locker room. We're hearing from our courtside cameraman, Caveman Castaneda, that it's a hip and a knee.
They're going to make that an intentional foul call. That's why he's at the line shooting by himself. Is Khalil Watkins, who misses the first one. And Khalil Watkins, this is a big story to me, Mickey. He has not scored in this game.
And that is the fifth free throw Sacred Heart has missed in this game. That is his first point. Sacred Heart will keep the ball.
And that's the big thing with an intentional foul. Not only the two free throws, but you get the basketball.
Knocked out of bounds by Davis.
And immediately they go to the guy that we talked about on the inbounds, trying to get it in the hands of Murdoch Simmons.
Oh, and a wide open Watkins. Somehow he got free. Good look. Sacred Heart with a 5-point lead now, and this bounces off Taylor's head, but a foul against Murdoch Simmons. Just going for the ball.
Oxford fell asleep on defense. The Sacred Heart maybe fell asleep a little bit on the defensive end as Murdoch Simmons was trying to recover. It's almost like a defensive back, and they're throwing that ball to the receiver, and he had some ground to make up and just collided with Rock Taylor.
Inbound to Taylor. Davis lobs inside, and it's a bad pass taken by Murdoch Simmons. So now how can Sacred Heart handle the rest of the quarter here without Deontay Wood and possibly the rest of the game? Khalil Watkins, a wild, ill-advised shot there. Here comes Oxford. Dish to Taylor, misses. And Marquise Davis is fouled as he tried to tap it back in.
And right now, with Deontay Wood out of the game, Mick, you look at that front line. Rock Taylor, Marquise Davis, Braden Mack. There's a big size advantage inside for Oxford right now. Literally, Sacred Heart doesn't have really anybody physically that can match up with that front line of Oxford inside at this point in time.
And Davis hits the first free throw.
A lot of length and a lot of size in that Oxford front line right now.
And he hits the second. Sacred Heart easily beats the press this time. Murdoch-Simmons dribbled it off his foot, though. He's had to play a lot tonight. Wonder if there's some fatigue showing up there on that play. Simmons will try to take it against Marquise Davis. Sacred Heart fans wanted a whistle, no foul, and Simmons is still on the ground. Eugene Leonard pulls up and hits the short jump shot. And Coach Graves is going to call a timeout as Simmons is grasping his left foot.
By far the two best players for Sacred Heart, there's no doubt. Deontay Wood already in the dressing room with an injury. And now Murdoch-Simmons gets a helping hand up off the floor from Coach Raphael Graves, and he's holding his knee. And he goes limping off the court now. Here comes Sean Seeger again. He's got another one to tend to. As you see him tending now to Murdoch-Simmons holding his ankle.
And here comes Deontay Wood out of the Sacred Heart locker room. And he's running out.
Wood is running, but he's got a heavy limp, Mickey.
He'll come out, and Murdoch-Simmons will go in.
So they bring their best player out.
Here we see he stepped on Davis's left foot and rolled his ankle.
This has been a wild third quarter, to say the least, here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. And the fans are in this game. The student sections of Sacred Heart and Oxford are going at it right now.
Oxford will be able to set up their press now after the break for the injury.
Let's see how effective Deontay Wood is. He was still limping coming out of the dressing room.
A minute and a half to play, third quarter. Wood is open inside, and he is fouled by Braden Mack. That'll be number 4 on Mack.
Braden Mack has got to understand, Mickey, that the way this game is going, because of the injuries, because of the hard fouls, the officials are going to call that every time. If you make any contact with him, the way this game has been going, you know you're going to get called for that. And now one of the big inside forces for Oxford is going to be out of the game. They're about to pull him out, it looks like. And he may be sitting on the bench for quite some time.
Deontay Wood hits the first free throw.
Mack comes out of the game. Simeon Shadrick's back in the game for Oxford. Also back in there is Monte McClendon. Mont McClendon back in the game, and Simeon Shadrick. So I would imagine we're going to probably see Mack sitting there at least at the end of the third quarter, maybe the first few minutes of the fourth quarter.
Wood misses another free throw. That is 7 missed free throws for Sacred Heart. Davis misses it badly. Deontay Wood able to get the rebound. Here comes the Cardinals. Watkins back out top to Wood. Now Sacred Heart will set up their offense. 1 minute to go, third quarter. Cardinals lead by 2. A wild, physical game here tonight in the boys' championship game. And a foul against Mont McClendon.
If you're a Sacred Heart fan, the thing you've got to be pleased with is with all the adversity your team has faced in the third quarter, with all the injuries to your two best players, they still have not given up the lead. They've still maintained this 2-point lead that they had at halftime.
Oxford zoning. Sacred Heart will back it out. Play for 1 unless Oxford comes out and picks them up. Cardinals would like to at least enter the fourth quarter up by 2. Unless they can add to that lead. Oxford going to sit back, so Sacred Heart will have the final shot, it appears.
Just watching Deontay Wood, he's still favoring that hip. Mickey, watching him underneath the goal, favoring that.
They lob it to him. His shot from the free throw line is no good. Leonard's got it with 4 seconds, and he is fouled by Wood. Not a smart play there by Deontay Wood. Maybe a little frustration after missing the shot.
That was the second foul on Deontay Wood in the game.
Oxford has 2.3 seconds. Leonard. His runner is good. They'll count it. Leonard now with 12 points in the game. And that ties the score. We are right back where we started about an hour and 5 minutes ago. Fourth quarter action in the boys championship game coming up on TV 24.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, 3-point home run, hat-trick pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
When it comes to great tasting barbecue, nobody does it better than Dad's Barbecue. Dad's Barbecue is slow hickory cooked to perfection, and Dad's menu includes a wide selection of popular items such as our smoked chicken sandwich, ribs, salads, and the best chicken fingers in town. And Dad's offers fresh homemade hamburgers and hand-dipped ice cream shakes. Dad's utilizes the latest technology to ensure that your orders are always accurate and hot out of the kitchen. Family owned and operated since 1985, Dad's Barbecue with 2 locations in Anniston to serve you.
Fourth quarter action set to begin. Hey, I'd like to congratulate a couple of Oxford High School students. These 2 young men won the FLW Series this past Saturday. They qualified for this year's national championship. Andrew Harris and Logan Tice, the Oxford fishing team.
We got bowling now as an official AHSAA sport. We got.
And there we see the ice around the ankle of Murdoch Simmons. Doesn't look good for his return, does it?
Well, we're getting word that he possibly may not return in this game.
Kendrick Simmons, Foster with a steal. Back out to Leonard. And Leonard, I don't know who he was throwing it to. He's trying to get it to Rock Taylor and threw it away.
Miscommunication there. Taylor was open. He was posted up on the inside begging for the basketball. And then I think Eugene Leonard thought that maybe Marquise Davis was going to flash inside. Davis didn't flash, and he threw the ball away.
Deontay Wood pulls up, misses. Marquise Davis with a rebound. Oxford with a chance to reclaim the lead. Leonard pulls up and hits it.
Sacred Heart not doing a real good job right now in transition and guarding Eugene Leonard to those pull-up jumpers.
Khalil Watkins tried the Euro step, tried to avoid the contact with Leonard, but couldn't do so. So it's an offensive foul on Khalil Watkins, his 3rd.
See the replay here. Just at the very last minute, Eugene Leonard steps in and takes that charge. I don't know when the last time I've seen a guy, Mickey, that is that fearless at taking charges. And it's easy for a big guy to take a charge. When you're a small guy like Eugene Leonard to step in there with these big guys and knowing you're going to take a punishment and a hard lick, it's just real impressive. And those are the kind of things that you don't see in any kind of stat sheet whatsoever, taking charges, but those are the kinds of possession changers that win close basketball games like this.
Oxford with the ball and a 2-point lead. Not quite a minute gone by here in the fourth quarter. Chadrick's at the top of the key, over to Foster, swings it over to Leonard. Leonard misses another 3. Rock Taylor there with a rebound, and Khalil Watkins had his arms all over him. Trying to keep Rock Taylor off the boards, and that is a tough task.
Taylor's just so physical inside, and you saw it right there, just more physical than Khalil Watkins. So he had him boxed out, and all Watkins could do was try to grab his arm and hope he misses some free throws.
Taylor misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Marquise Davis knocks it out of bounds. So Sacred Heart will inbound.
Pretty good decision by Khalil Watkins to foul there in that situation. Missed the free throw and they get the ball back.
Watkins back over to Brown. Lost the dribble. Kendrick Foster drives and gets it to fall, and a blocking foul called against Brown.
That is a huge play, a huge sequence of events right there. As you see, not only the steal, but then the drive inside, and the basket, and the foul, and the chance for a three-point play.
And the Oxford crowd getting into it now. Kendrick Foster now with 12 points in the game, looking for point number 13 if he can make this free throw. Coming up at the conclusion of the game, we'll have live coverage of the award ceremony, the presentation of the boys all-tournament team, and of course the Calhoun County runner-up and championship trophy presentations right here on the floor at Pete Matthews Coliseum. A quick turnaround for both these teams, by the way. After tonight, they're both back in area play tomorrow night. Oxford will travel to Southside, where they will go for the season sweep. Meanwhile, same thing for Sacred Heart, as they will play at Donahoe.
That may be the most significant sequence in this game, what we just witnessed right there with Kendrick Foster. They missed the free throw. Sacred Heart had the basketball, only down by 2. And then they get the steal, the turnover, the foul, the basket, and a chance to make a three-point play. So Sacred Heart goes from having a chance to tie it or take the lead to possibly now Mickey being down by 5 based on that one turnover by Kendrick Foster.
And even coming out of a timeout, you got to look, this is, you know, if he can hit this free throw, they can set up that press again, because you saw what Oxford was able to do to Sachs with it, and they've been able to turn over Sacred Heart a number of times in this game tonight. So big opportunity to hit the free throw, and Kendrick Foster does. So now Oxford can set up the press. It's a 5-point Oxford lead. Watkins gets it ahead to Brown, and Brown misses. Shadricks with a rebound. He pushes it up the floor. Gets it over to Davis. Shadricks in the corner. Deontay Wood there can't get the shot away. Inside to Rock Taylor, who's posted up against the smaller player. And now Leonard will back it out.
Coach Joel Van Meter screaming even before that last sequence to slow things down, and then he's saying back it out, back it out.
Leonard missed. And a foul over the back against Rock Taylor, I believe, going for the offensive rebound.
Taylor did the boxing out that last time when he drew the foul. This time he was boxed out and he commits the foul. And now we go to the other end to shoot free throws now for Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart will be in the Oxford now is in the bonus. Sacred Heart has committed 9 fouls, so Oxford in the double bonus the rest of the way. Sacred Heart in the bonus for this last 6:21.
And Sacred Heart has not shot the ball well at all from the free throw line. They've missed 7 free throws.
As close as this game has been, 5 points has been a monumental lead, so these are big free throws here for the Cardinals.
And they miss an 8th free throw. Well, they would have a 3-point lead with free throws. Foster, long range 3 is no good. Deontay Wood skies for the rebound, and he is trapped in the corner and throws it ahead. Somehow got it to Wilson. He shoots a 3, no good. Watkins, a nice little pass to Joshua Brown, who lays it in. And Sacred Heart with a little pressure of their own.
First points of the game for Joshua Brown.
And Coach Graves gets a timeout as they steal the ball from Eugene Leonard. And Coach Graves saves the possession here as they'll have the basketball with 5:52 to play in the game, trailing by 3.
Big basket by Joshua Brown, and then an even bigger turnover there. And as big as that sequence was for Oxford, Sacred Heart gets a big sequence to bring it back. And now they've got a chance to pull within 1, maybe with a 3-point play of some kind to tie this game up. The second half, this has been a roller coaster. It seemed like Oxford has all the momentum, then Sacred Heart, then back to Oxford, and now it looks like Sacred Heart may be about to seize the momentum away once again. Should be an exciting last 5:52. Mickey, you and I have called both on radio and television. We have called a lot of county tournament championship games through the years, and we have seen some great ones going all the way back into the 1990s. Mickey, this is shaping up to be as good as we've seen through the years.
Great game, very competitive, just like last year's game was. Sacred Heart. Riggins controls against Foster. Joshua Brown's three-pointer is short from the corner. And rebound by Oxford. Braden Mack with those 4 fouls, throws it away. Deontay Wood takes it all the way and lays it in.
Deontay Wood with an unbelievable steal and another near steal by Sacred Heart. We talk about the length of Deontay Wood. We saw it on that steal right there. And then watch him come down. Look at this. Look at the body control. That's why he's going to play in the SEC.
Makes it a 1-point Oxford lead. Sacred Heart no longer in a zone. Matched up man-to-man. Marquise Davis misses. Gets his own rebound, though. Finds Leonard open from the three-point line, and Leonard misses another 3. But Walt Taylor, missed this putback. Taylor normally very accurate inside. Missed that one badly. Deontay Wood on the drive. In contact with Leonard and no whistle. Boy, something's got to be called right there. And Foster banks it in. Either that's a charge or a block.
All I know is we had 2 bodies laying all over the place in the lane down there.
Open 3 from the corner, no good. Taylor's got the rebound ahead to Davis. Oxford with the ball and a 3-point lead.
A wild pace, but nobody able to make any baskets.
Braden Mack lays it in. Five-point Oxford lead. Sacred Heart in need of a bucket badly. Can they get it here? No, a missed 3 by Wilson, and the Cardinals have gone cold from the perimeter.
Another factor is Deontay Wood. Really, his rebounding ability is suffering a lot. He is moving very slow. You see Deontay right there, moving slow, limping, favoring that hip a good bit. That last time he was blocked out, and I just don't think that his leaping ability is what it normally is because of that injury that he had earlier in the third quarter.
Davis's free throw is good.
Garfield Graves talking with the officials there. They're having a deep conversation now. A timeout call.
Timeout on the floor. 4:01 to play in the game. Oxford with a 6-point lead as the Jackets looking for a back-to-back here at the county tournament.
Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford, we treat you like family.
Their appointments are always available. I never feel rushed or like I'm bothering them if I call, and Dr. Edmond is just always happy to see every patient.
It ain't like you going to some of these others. You go in there and don't know what doctor you're going to get to see. This is the doctor when you come, this is the man you will see.
I wouldn't go anywhere else. There's nobody else I trust.
Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford. One visit and you'll know you're a member of the family.
Davis hits the free throw. Sacred Heart down by 7 now. Khalil Watkins avoids the contact. Sacred Heart just can't buy one. Kendrick Foster throws it away. Dish inside to Watkins, and it's swatted away by Marquise Davis. Foster pulls up, and he misses. Braden Mack can't get it to fall, and he has it stripped. Deontay Wood is all alone by himself and lays it in. He never even came down the court.
Wood can't even walk right now. The reason he didn't come to the other end, I was looking for him, is you can just see that injury he suffered in the third quarter has caught up with him. Again, Sean Seeger is over there, and I don't know if he can come back. We have not seen, and we understand we're not going to see Murdoch Simmons come back, and I'm not sure we're going to see Deontay Wood come back for this last 3:24, Mickey.
Yeah, it's a shame we're not able to finish the game with all the players. You know, it's just unfortunate. We didn't have Deontay Wood in the championship game last year, and Murdoch Simmons has been out. Wood is hobbled. Tough break for Sacred Heart. They're going to have to find a way to get some stops and find some offense. It's stripped off of, well, I thought it was off of Foster, but it'll stay with Oxford. 3:12 to play now. Jackets will inbound.
Be interesting to see if Joel Van Meter, now he's got a huge size advantage now inside. There's really no one that can match up with his front line guys. Let's see if they try to take advantage here.
Davis drives, dishes to Taylor, has it blocked from behind. Nice play by Caleb Brown. And Riggins on the drive and lays it in, and finally Sacred Heart breaks through offensively. That basket has had a lid on it here for the last 3 minutes.
Win Riggins with maybe the biggest basket of the game so far for Sacred Heart. His first points of the second half. He had a three-pointer in the first half and a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play here. And Deontay Wood, there you see him, number 1, is back on the floor. That is a warrior. And you know, if you're Avery Johnson down in Alabama, you got to love to see that. To see a guy that's in so much pain but wants to play and wants to help his team win a championship.
Another missed free throw. That is 9 missed free throws in the game for Sacred Heart. They trail by 3. And a timeout call here by Oxford.
Wood just having a really tough time even walking back to the Sacred Heart huddle. You see him the last one in over there.
It feels like a bigger lead than 3 points. But really Sacred Heart is somehow just hanging around.
They really are. It's a credit to Sacred Heart. They have not given up, and at times their 2 best players have been on the bench at times here in the second half, and guys have stepped up. Had the big basket by Quinn Riggins drawing the foul. Khalil Watkins with a couple of big baskets there. Here comes Deontay Wood. Now that break, still limping, but a pretty good stride to his gait.
Braden Mack thought about the 3, drives against Wood, and is going to be called for an offensive foul. That'll be it for him. Braden Mack just fouled out. He has just been unable to stay away from fouls in this game.
Well, that's big news for Sacred Heart, because that is one of the physical players. This has been a physical game, especially the Oxford end, and one of those big physical players now out of the game for Oxford. Braden Mack goes to the bench for the last 2:40.
So 2:40 to play. Can the Jackets hold on? Watkins trapped by Shadrickson. Foster, a near steal, and Davis just picked up his second foul.
Davis had a good thought, but he had that thought a little bit too late, and you knew when he broke toward the basketball there was no way he could get there. Here he comes. You see him coming out of the corner, and he just ran all over Joshua Brown.
So again, John, it's about free throws for Sacred Heart. They would have a lead if they were hitting their free throws in this game.
These are big ones right here. They could cut this down to a 1-point game.
And another missed free throw.
Just looking at Raphael Graves over there, and he just kind of threw his hands up. Just what do you do?
Brown makes the second. 2-point Oxford lead. Sacred Heart putting the press on. And Deontay Wood stole it. His runner on the baseline is no good, and Leonard comes away with it. Leonard pushes. Hits Shadricks in the corner. His three is no good. Marquise Davis with a rebound over to Foster. Foster has it stolen, and here comes Deontay Wood. And Wood draws the contact and laid it in. And it's tie game. Shadricks on the other end lays it in. Oxford back up by 2. And now, John, we've got Wilson over there limping for Sacred Heart. Khalil Watkins left open top of the key. Hits the three. You wanted to know where Khalil was, John. There he is.
He scored all 6 of his points, Mickey, in the fourth quarter. And Sacred Heart has the lead. And we have the timeout called by Oxford. Is that going to be overruled? That is not a timeout, Mickey Shadricks, that Joel Van Meter wanted to call out. He was forced, or there was going to be a 5-second call, so that's kind of a wasted timeout by Oxford, and that leaves them, Mickey, 1:35 to go. Oxford only has 1 timeout left now.
And again, we're sitting here feeling like Oxford is in control of the game, and you look on the scoreboard, and Sacred Heart somehow has wiggled out of here with a 1-point lead, and that's with all the missed free throws.
Mickey, win or lose, they're called Sacred Heart. You got to take your hats off to them tonight. They have shown heart. This is a team that could have given up. Their best player goes to the dressing room. They're maybe the second best player on the team. And by the way, looking over on the Sacred Heart bench, John Seeger's over there. They're putting a boot on Murdoch Simmons over there at the end of the bench. So he definitely is done. And I think if you're Raphael Graves, you start talking in this situation about, there it is. You start talking about now this time of year, Mick, you start talking about area play. You start talking about trying to win a state championship. And who knows, certainly hope that he's not got a serious injury, but look at that boot they put on him over there. Hopefully that's just a precaution, because he's a great basketball player, and they're going to need him if they're going to win a 4th straight state championship.
And again, Victor Wilson Jr. is kind of limping around a little bit as well. Oxford gets it into Davis. He'll bring it up against Watkins and draw the foul. And an ill-advised foul there by Watkins, because he just put Marquise Davis at the free throw line.
And that is number 5 on Khalil Watkins in this game. So Watkins now goes to the bench. And that is huge, because Watkins has been big, as we mentioned, all 6 of his points here in the fourth quarter. As Raphael Graves, you see him talking to him, kind of frustrated with Watkins, kind of saying, hey, you had 4 fouls and you're leaning on the guy. It was an unnecessary foul.
Marquise misses the first, so Oxford's been a little better from the free throw line tonight, but a big miss there. That is only the Yellow Jackets' 2nd miss from the line tonight.
Will Watkins being on the bench is a big loss for Sacred Heart, because he's such a great 3-point shooter.
Davis hits the second. Ties the game at 61. Deontay Wood now guarded by Rock Taylor. Here comes a trap. Now Davis backs off. Stancil in the game now. Foster guards Riggins. Wood and Davis.
No shot clock. They could hold this, Mickey, to the last one if they wanted to.
Trap. Pass to Wilson. Wild shot is no good. Deontay Wood is fouled by Marquise Davis as he tried to put it back in. So Sacred Heart is going to have another trip to the free throw line and an opportunity to reclaim the lead.
3rd foul on Davis, and then Victor Wilson gets up limping for Sacred Heart. think he's going to be okay. This has been I can't remember a county tournament game that's been this physical in a while. A game that had a county championship game that had this many injuries. Forget about Marquise Davis. He fell in the first quarter for Oxford. Laid on the floor for a long time, and he's kind of been limping, not 100% for the rest of this game. Big free throws here by Deontay Wood.
He's 3 for 6 from the line tonight. Make it 4 for 7. And he just gave his team the lead again.
$18 points in the game for the Alabama signee Deontay Wood. Going for point number 19.
He missed the second. The 11th missed free throw tonight. It's a 1-point Sacred Heart lead. Under a minute to play. Sacred Heart in a man-to-man. Marquise Davis drives. Dishes off to Taylor. Over to Foster. Leonard will drive. Cut off by Riggins. Eugene Leonard just dribbled a turnover there. Just turned it over, trying to dribble into 3 defenders. Sacred Heart with a 1-point lead with the ball. Oxford's going to have to foul.
They really don't want to foul Deontay Wood, but with 22.8 seconds, Simeon Chadwick's had no choice.
That is Shadrick's first, and Deontay Wood, who is 4 for 8 from the line, is back there again. And Wood gets the roll.
Huge free throw. And
even the ones they make aren't smooth.
And this is the biggest one of them all, because this makes Oxford have to shoot a 3 as opposed to a 2 if he makes this shot.
And Wood makes it. And Oxford will call their, or who called it? Sacred Heart, I believe, called the timeout.
Marquise Davis made a half-court shot, but they had already whistled for the timeout. And that, by the way, Sacred Heart they called the timeout. So now Sacred Heart has 1 timeout. Oxford has 1 timeout. Foul situation, both teams in the double bonus.
What a tremendous basketball game. What a gutsy performance by Sacred Heart with the injuries. And what a gutsy performance for Oxford with the foul trouble they had. Braden Mack, their starting post player, they've really missed him. He played very few minutes because he picked up the 5th foul in the 4th quarter, but it seemed like every time they tried to put him back in, he would get that next foul, have to go to the bench. And Mack is such an effective low post scorer. They've really missed him in this game tonight.
And Mickey, he's been in foul trouble since the get-go.
Yeah.
He had 2 fouls midway through the first quarter. So he's been in foul trouble really all night long. And the tension and the excitement level here at the Coliseum, I mean, folks are on their feet. It is an exciting atmosphere here for this last 22.8.
Interesting decision here. Coach Graves going to pick up full court man-to-man against the Yellow Jackets. I think Coach Graves would be happy with anything but a 3. Davis shoots a wild 3. It's no good. Sacred Heart with the rebound. Wilson is going to try to dribble out of trouble and is fouled by Kendrick Foster. And they've got a chance, John, to put it away at the free throw line.
I'll tell you what, Sacred Heart doesn't have a lot of fans as opposed to a school like Oxford, but they are making a lot of noise here in this west end of the Coliseum. Sacred Heart needs to make 1 at least of these 2 that are coming up. If he doesn't make at least 1, Oxford still has a chance to tie it and go to overtime.
And that is the biggest make of the game.
Victor Wilson, 6 in the first half, 7 here in the second half. Quiet 13 points.
Makes them both. It is a 5-point Sacred Heart lead, 2-possession game. Rock Taylor gets it over to Marquise Davis, fires up another wild 3, air ball, and that'll do it. Sacred Heart has captured their second Calhoun County championship as they defeat the Oxford Yellow Jackets 66-61. And John, I think you said it best when you said they lived up to their name tonight, showing a ton of heart.
I don't know if I've ever seen a high school team in the course of the game that everything that went against them in that third quarter to show more heart than Sacred Heart showed tonight. I mean, you have to take your hats off to this basketball team. No quit whatsoever in this Sacred Heart basketball team.
And reminder, coming up, we'll have live coverage of the trophy presentation and to the all-tournament team. I tell you, John, they may not have the biggest cheering section of the tournament this year, but they got a really loud and happy one right now.
And I don't know, with the reaction of the Sacred Heart fans and the team, this is like a state championship to them. I don't know that they had this much excitement the last 3 times they've been down to Birmingham. We're going to see Gerhard Mathangani standing by here with our MVP of the game and also with the head coach here in just a couple of seconds.
All right, Gerhard, I think he's ready. Take it away.
All right, we're here with our America's First Federal Credit Union player of the game and Sacred Heart head coach Raphael Graves. We'll start with our player of the game, Deontay Wood. First off, Deontay, let's just start with the basics. How are you feeling? You took a nasty fall there, but you're able to come back.
Oh, I'm hurting right now. I'm hurting, but I just had to play through it. Had to come through for my team. I couldn't give up on them because we needed this one, and I came through for them.
You were finding yourself down at several points in the game. Murdoch goes down. He was the leading scorer up until that point. Talk about the fortitude that it took for you guys as a team to come back and get this win.
Hey, we all had to step up as one, and I'm proud of my team. Without them, we wouldn't have won this, and without them, they wouldn't have faith in me or Murdoch. They kept playing even though we was hurt, and they still believed in it, and I'm proud of them.
5 straight years you've been in the final. This is the second Calhoun County Championship. We saw the celebration afterwards. How good does this one feel?
Hey, it feels good. It feels good.
America's First Federal Credit Union player of the game, Deontay Wood, congratulations. A $25 gift card is headed your way. Congratulations. And also turn it over to Coach Raphael Grace. First off, Coach, we talked to Deontay about his health and about Murdoch as well. So talk about the adversity your team had to fight through today.
I told you last game, we've been playing behind the 8 ball all year. And we was ready for this. We've been battle tested. Murdoch went out hurt. We've been through this all year. Deontay go out hurt. We played without him half the season. So I was just proud how the boys rallied together, kept believing. And, I just want to thank God and our school for believing in us and believing in the administration, all of them here. Our community is here and they believe in us. And we're just proud to represent the city of Anniston and bring this thing back to Sacred Heart.
2 times in a row for the last 2 years. You came in here, fell a little bit short. You played this now 5 times in a row. How good does this one feel, knocking off the biggest school in the county?
Oh, man, it's not so much about the biggest school in the county. Also got a really good team, man. And we just knew tonight this was a big game for us, you know what I mean? But to bring that supremacy back to Sacred Heart. You know what I mean? And in this county tournament, it's really good for our community because the magnitude, everything, every play counts. If the ball roll on the floor and kick out of bounds, everybody's jumping up all around. So we're just happy to bring it back to Sacred Heart. Take your head off to Coach Van Meter and his Oxford team. They're a really good team, and hopefully they do well going and continuing on.
Everybody had a lot of questions after Kevion and DJ went to the next level. What does this win and what does this tournament say about your boys?
Well, one thing about it is we do miss Kevion and DJ, but one thing you got to understand is, life goes on. Those guys didn't invent basketball, so we had to pick up the pieces. Kevion is here right there. He came to watch his alumni as an alumni. I mean, we're just proud to represent our school the best as we can, and there they are right there. That's our little student body right there.
Congratulations, Coach. I'll let you get back to celebrating with the team. Guys, a great win. Great to hear from both of them after a Sacred Heart victory.
All right, thanks, Gerhard. And
some little dance moves out there from Raphael Graves.
Again, the trophy presentation coming, the all-tournament team. selections will be announced here momentarily, and we will join up with the public address announcer here at Pete Matthews Coliseum.
Of the boys division of the 67th annual Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you the all-tournament team first. From Oxford, Marquise Davis. From Weaver, Robert Gaines. From Alexandria, Dalton Dodd. From Faith Christian, Malcolm Carlisle. From Anniston, Dontavius Davis. From Sachs, Devon Beeson. From Sacred Heart, Quinn Riggins. From Jacksonville, Donovan McCain. From Ohatchee, Ben Glass. From Sachs, Darian Brisky. From Sacred Heart, Murdoch Simmons. From Oxford, Eugene Leonard. From Oxford, Kendrick Foster. From Sacred Heart, Victor Wilson. From Oxford, Rock Taylor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Outstanding Player Awards. For the Outstanding Offensive Player, the Outstanding Defensive Player, and the MVP of the 67th Annual Calhoun County Basketball Tournament of the Boys Division all goes to Sacred Heart's Deontay Wood. The runner-up trophy for the 67th Annual Calhoun County Basketball Tournament goes to the Oxford Yellow Jackets. And your 67th Annual Calhoun County Basketball Tournament champions of the Boys Division goes to Sacred Heart. And we do thank you for attending the 67th Annual Calhoun County Tournament. We hope to see you next year for the 68th Annual Calhoun County Tournament right here at Pete Matthews Coliseum here in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Well, John, we see the Sacred Heart players gathered around that trophy. It's not a state championship trophy, but you can tell it is a very, very important trophy for this school.
Well, the roles were reversed. Last year, Sacred Heart was the #1 seed, and they got knocked off. And even though they were the #1 seed this time, I think a lot of folks maybe thought Oxford, being the county champions with a lot of returnees, was maybe the favorite coming into this. And Sacred Heart kind of returned the favorite. We're seeing something, Mickey, I don't think I've ever seen before here in the Calhoun County basketball tournament. The offensive, the defensive, and the overall MVP was the same player. I can't remember that ever happening with Deontay Wood. That's pretty impressive.
Well, John, looking at, let's kind of put a wrap on this game before we sign off. You look at Sacred Heart, I kind of go back to the first half when Oxford was playing well. Without Murdoch Simmons, Sacred Heart might have been knocked out in the first half. He had 16 points in the game. All 16 were in the first half. Then Deontay Wood, he only had 8 points at halftime, kind of, even with the injury, kind of got it cooking in the second half. He wound up with 22 points, obviously 14 of those in the second half. And then Victor Wilson Jr. had 12 points on 4 threes. As you mentioned, he had 1 in each quarter of the game. Meanwhile, for Oxford, kind of a team effort scoring-wise as well, but the leading scorer for the Yellow Jackets was Kendrick Foster with 15, and I thought he really did a good job of playing under control. I think Oxford took a lot of shots that maybe were not good selection. I think Kendrick Foster, every time he shot the ball, it was a good decision. He made a lot of them, played well defensively, and so Kendrick Foster leading the way for Oxford tonight in scoring with 15 points.
This is as physical a Calhoun County basketball championship game as we've ever seen. And I tell you what, these two teams, very impressive. The takeaway, I think, from this is we know Sacred Heart's going to compete for a 1A state championship, probably the favorite to win it again. They're #1 in Class 1A. Against 1A competition, they have just not been challenged. I think Oxford, though, as we have seen here tonight, as we saw against Sachs in the semifinals, even though they're in 6A and they're not ranked, they've got some losses there. But you look at who their losses are to. They've lost to people like Mountain Brook and #1 in 3A Plainview. And, they've lost to Vestavia Hills and Ramsey and Muscle Shoals and Sparkman. They've lost to some of the top teams in the state of Alabama. I think on a given day, and we saw this last year with Oxford coming all the way to the regional final here at Jack State, I think it's an Oxford team that can win a lot of games to make a run at a state championship in 6A, and certainly Sacred Heart going to be the favorite to win 4 in a row in Class 1A, which is just phenomenal, especially as you mentioned, Mickey, losing the kind of players they lost last year. And Gerhard mentioned that in his interview as well. And to come back and win the county tournament this year, still be ranked #1 in the state in 1A, and be the favorite to win another 1A championship speaks to a great job by Raphael Graves and his team. That's a lot of heart tonight. I think that's the big deal here at the Coliseum.
You said it best. Well, again, quick turnaround for these two teams. Both back in area play tomorrow night as Oxford will travel to Southside and Sacred Heart will play at Donahoe. The Cardinals, this was their 5th straight appearance in the boys championship game. After losing to Oxford last year, losing to Anniston 2 of the previous 3 trips, they get back that county championship trophy tonight on their 5th trip to the championship round with a 66-61 victory over 6A Oxford. Congratulations to Raphael Graves and his entire team, to Sacred Heart School for winning the county championship tonight. Thanks to you for joining us as well. It's been fun as always. For our entire crew, for Gerhard Mathangani, for John Holder, Mickey Shadrick saying so long from Pete Matthews Coliseum.